Hey everybody, the Swamp Cleaner here, back with another video for you. Now I know I said in my previous one I was going to have it be the last one of the year, but I just had to get one more in because I just saw two stories that a couple YouTubers that I follow talk about, and it's just really, really disturbing because you know how you hear 1984 is here, and that instead of these movies being warnings for a dystopian future. They're more like a guidebook, and the left is pretty much following that. And we see the censorship of 1984 and the rewriting of history, as we see in 1984, and the destruction of words because, hate speech and yada, yada, yada. But now we're also seeing clockwork orange type levels of indoctrination and forced ideological thinking. And these next two stories, when I explain them to you here, you're gonna think of that scene in The Clockwork Orange when that the main gang guy, I forgot his name because I haven't seen the movie in forever. He's getting forced to watch the propaganda, and they're putting drops in his eyes, and he's like screaming, "Yes, I understand, I understand." It's this forced indoctrination is so creepy, but these two stories here are prime examples of how now A Clockwork Orange is now in reality. So now we have another form of liberal Hollywood dystopian fiction now becoming a part of reality. The first story here is about an Argentinian radio host that now has to feature feminists on his program, and he cannot refute any of their ideas. And this is by a court order, so he is forced to now sit there, and I have it pulled up here. The guests, his feminist guests that must be vetted by the courts and vetted by like certain prosecutor's office, and with a gender violence prosecutor directing the court ordered content, they need to sign off on his guests, and the guests must be allowed to speak for 10 minutes, during which time Mr. Echekopar, I think I might have butchered that, but Echekopar will not be allowed to interrupt them. So they're allowed to say whatever they want, and then after they're done, he can't even criticize, so he cannot build an argument and respond to what they say. Even if it's a legitimate argument, he cannot criticize it whatsoever. So how is this fair? If this is the only way feminist ideology can spread and can win, is by shutting down any criticism and not allowing anybody else to interrupt or speak up, then it's a flawed ideology. If that is the only way, that's the only parameters in where they have the correct view on things, as if it doesn't get challenged. So that's very questionable. Second story, I'm going to keep this quick because it is closer to the holidays, and I got things to do. Got picking up a lot of extra hours at work. But here we go. Second one is student targeted by troll storm. Hope settlement will send message to white supremacists. This is another totally Orwellian version of Clockwork Orange here. Like, yeah, 1984 plus Clockwork Orange. We're all working. This is coming at us from all sides, people. But here we go. The person in question his name is McCarthy. So Mr. McCarthy, as part of his court order, because as part of the settlement, McCarthy agreed to assist Mr. Dumpson in his legal effort against his two co-defendants. So he must pretty much, turn on whoever he was associated with or like loosely friends with, and just pretty much bury them too, because he's going to get buried as well. His usefulness will come to an end, and they'll just railroad him as well. But Mr. McCarthy must also apologize to Ms. Thompson in writing and on video, and then she can use that video for civil rights advocacy, outreach, and educational activities, the settlement states. This is pretty much, she can use his videos for propaganda to say, look, here's a white supremacist. This is how we have identified them. This is what they do. This is who they are. So it's pretty much a blanket, insinuation that pretty much, I guess, white people are white supremacists. And she can use and abuse that guy's a video, cut it up, edit it, do whatever she wants to make it look even nefarious or make it look like a non-apology. Who knows? But he then agreed to undergo anti-hate training and at least a year of counseling. For what? For posting a couple jokes, yeah, racial jokes, which, yeah, some people might find funny. The majority of people, including me, don't find funny and pretty distasteful. So he has to complete 4 academic courses on race, gender issues, and do 200 hours of community service related to racial justice. Mr. Dumpson's legal team will be monitoring his compliance and can inflict monetary penalties if he does not comply. So he will be strapped in and force spoon-fed the leftist SJW ideology, and he has to cram that in. At least a year of counseling, complete 4 academic courses. So he's going to be inundated with this crap for a while. This is insane, and this is court ordered. How is this even? How is this? I mean, it is out of the realm because it is civil litigation, and he did settle to this. But, dude, you're now ordered to pretty much cleanse your wrong think. Get strapped in. You're going back to the re-education center, and you are going to come out like a nice old good old-fashioned NPC like the rest of us. Oy, oy. Anyway, here is our dystopian liberal Hollywood fantasy come to life in first 1984 with censorship and wrongthink, but now with the strapped-in, spoon-fed, force-fed ideological cleansing that has to be done to cleanse and purize the entire world. I mean, it starts in Silicon Valley, spreads across the country. It's already hitting Europe. It's going everywhere. So be careful, everybody. You can get yourself in such a place where other people will force, compel orders upon you to have you re-examine and re-educate yourself on how you see the world and how you justify the actions you take and your morals. It is complete reprogramming. It is insane, everybody, so be careful. Because who knows, you could be targeted next. But anyway, that's the last video, I promise, at the end of this year. 2018, last video. I will see you in 2019. Catch you later.